Just checking.
That's going to be fun for later. All right. Episode I don't remember, but we'll figure it out. We'll call this episode Coffee Take One.
Episode coffee. I needed it.
All right.
A sleepy bitch. Hey.
Welcome.
What's that?
Keoh, welcome back to the studio. It's been a while.
Yes, it has.
Am I sounding? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I think you sound great.
Excellent. Let me just hear the music for just
I get it.
bit.
Let's hear it for the people in the back. Ow! You broke bitches. Everybody laughed at him. What a bunch of broke bitches. That's all right. You'll be in the front next time. I'm talking to you. You'll be in the front. Oh, that's
all right.
That's right.
Fans, viewers, listeners, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Late Night, Date Night, Daytime, Date Grind. I'm your host, Garrett. This is Keoh to my right. Thank you for having us.
The longest podcast name in the universe, but also the best.
Wherever you are, whenever you are, Thank you for listening. Welcome back, Keoh. I feel like it's been an eternity.
A lot of life events going on, man.
A lot of life events.
Fucking shit up.
We're running a tight schedule.
This water is strong.
I'm a hot mess. I need a shower. I need a haircut. I need a shave. But for you, we're going to do no cleanup. There's no hair and makeup for this episode.
Not
Nothing
this one.
fancy.
Not this one.
No, I look like a wild animal that they just pulled off of a shitty public golf course.
Like a hairy child.
Yeah, that's how I feel. That's how I feel. So a very hairy child, like a Russian child that's
adorable.
that has body hair way too early.
Just fucking
like a fourth grader with a mustache.
Yo, that was me. That was me.
It's very possible.
It's true. They called me Pedro.
But welcome, Pedro.
Thank you.
Bienvenido a la late night
hey.
para Pedro, mi amigo.
Yeah.
How bad is that I still haven't put the sound effect on here? I need the horn sound effect so bad. Somebody was talking about that. They listened to the podcast and were making fun of that we mouth it.
It actually aligns with some of the topics for today. Procrastination is on the list.
Ooh,
but we will get to it later.
I know you want to talk about it.
We will get to it later. It's something we struggle with.
I don't feel ready to talk about it.
It's not time. I think there's something else you wanted to talk about.
What do they say in Gamblers Anonymous and NA and all these things? What's the phrase that if you don't admit it, it's not a problem?
Yeah, no, admitting it is a
no,
huge
I'm
problem.
pretty positive. I've not been through any of those, but I think if you don't admit it, it's not a problem.
Oh, is that what it is? I don't think that's what it is.
I think that's what it is. If you don't vocalize it, it's not a problem.
That's right. Denial is the first step.
Yeah.
I believe is what you're trying to say.
Yes.
Yeah. I agree. I don't disagree.
Failure is the first step to success.
that
might
might
be
true. That might be true.
That one is true.
That's
but also, if you have character flaws, if there's something that you're really screwing up in life, don't admit it.
Don't admit it. Don't even address it. Blame everyone else.
Don't change.
You blame everyone else.
Do not better yourself.
Yes.
Do not.
Welcome to Date Night Self-Help.
All right, we're back. Clearly rustier than ever.
Late night.
But
I said date night. Fuck.
A lot to talk about tonight, so let's get straight to it.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have time for the monologue that we don't do every show. We don't have time.
We got to cut it out like we do.
We don't have time for the opener. We don't have time to thank the band.
Fuck the band.
We don't have time. We don't have time for guests.
Yeah.
We had a lot of big guests lined up, a lot of big names that we just don't have time because you and I are the stars of the show.
That's true.
So, fuck your guests.
Let's get to what's important, which is us.
Yeah, that's why you're all here.
Goddamn right.
So, this is what I want to talk about.
Ooh.
I went to a brewery recently. Happened to be the weekend of a Taylor Swift concert. Taylor Swift was in town. The town shuts down. And what I learned I underestimated the power of Taylor Swift on a local economy.
That's wild.
This is what blew my mind. You think of big concerts, like, you know, who's the top selling out there? We're talking One Direction, Taylor Swift, you know,
Yes.
formerly Justin Bieber, probably a bunch of K-pop stars now.
That's
but
crazy
these global phenomenon, probably MJ back in the day,
Uh-huh.
when they do a concert, even if it's probably like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, the town has to adjust. Hotels sold out everywhere, rental cars sold out. But this is what surprised me. I went to a local brewery.
Yeah.
They had a Taylor Swift food menu.
What?
Which basically just meant everything you wanted to eat that night that you love at this place was not available. They had just like the most basic sandwiches,
Avocado
the easiest
toast.
stuff for them to make. No, you would think it'd be like, you know, princess popcorn or, you know, unicorn nuggets. I don't know.
You
But
know, Princess Popcorn sounds crazy. I want some. Is it pink?
I'll give you the recipe later.
Thank you.
It's kind of like, have you ever seen like the unicorn ice cream in multicolors?
Oh, yeah, like the unicorn poo.
Similar. I guess.
You never seen unicorn poop?
I can't say that.
Dude,
I have.
unicorn shit rainbow poop.
Okay.
Come on, man.
All right.
That's a fact.
That's
You never seen unicorn shit?
point taken. I've never seen a unicorn anything. So
Really?
point taken.
You know,
But
my mom thought they were real.
they are real, but we'll circle back to that.
Sorry, Mom.
But my point was, it really opened my eyes to the power of just someone throwing a concert. One singular person. I mean, obviously
just
she's a
someone,
business.
though. Because, like, another someone could throw a concert.
No, I know. Like Eve Six is not shutting the town down.
Dude,
Like,
they
I'm
are for
sorry,
me,
you know,
dude.
Chumbawamba.
I can swallow my pride.
You know, you might shut down a local
Chumbawamba.
bar.
I get
My-
knocked down.
Maybe 10 streets over, one bar will close down for the night.
They had one
But
really
the fact
good song.
that the city, out of all these services, because people, not just from the area, would flock all over the country because, you know, there's probably only so many tours that they do in the States. They're picking cities all over the globe.
Yeah.
So I was just blown away that they could take a place that I had no expectation she would touch with her power, her sprinkle power,
Dude,
shut down my dinner menu.
Party in the USA.
Party in the USA.
That's not her song, but, you know, same shit.
I mean, that's crazy to me that a pop star can shut down a city. And
Yeah,
rightfully
shit's
so.
crazy.
This is, I mean, the local economy must love it because
Yeah.
you're bringing, just injecting business into that city. For 3 days, things are maxed out. When people aren't, you know, seeing a concert, they're in vacation mode. They're spending money. They've already spent, you know, $900, whatever it costs to see Taylor Swift.
Ugh.
They've already spent it. So what's a $20 taco?
I'm not
who,
doing
who
that.
cares?
Who's doing that?
Who cares?
Why are you doing that?
So
Whatever. Good for you, Taylor.
it's
I'm
good
sorry.
for the economy. So I'd like to take a moment to thank Taylor Swift for every city she goes to and for bolstering the local economy.
You're just a national treasure, Taylor. Which is crazy because she did start on a little thing called YouTube, right? Wasn't she with like her little acoustic guitar just fucking doing the damn thing to like almost like on a Bieber level? It was my understanding that she was
it
very
YouTube?
small. I don't know if it was YouTube or home videos. Maybe she was passing around VHSs. I don't know how she did it. But I know that she started from humble beginnings. She was a little like country singer, like not even like, you know,
She did start from country.
Thank you.
She started country
With a little
100%.
acoustic guitar, and now she's fucking shaking.
Transition to pop.
Yeah.
And everyone was up in arms when people like change genres. Like it's such a big deal.
Well, I mean, sometimes it is.
Why? Tell me why.
Well, Machine Gun Kelly.
What's wrong with that?
Well,
He raps. He does like pump rock.
I like him
rock.
as a rapper. I like him as a
I
rapper.
like his rock stuff.
Well, that's good.
It's not all of it's my favorite.
It's not that I don't like the rock stuff, okay? There's a couple songs he has that are good. But, like, why just give up on the whole other genre?
See, then you're part of the problem. Let me take this moment to say you are part of the problem.
No.
You're pigeonholing an artist. You're saying because I like you in this, you just said, why did you leave the genre? He didn't leave the genre.
He did leave the genre.
No, he just wants to try some other things. He comes back and raps all the time. He does rap albums. He, like all artists, they want, even Lil Wayne did a guitar album. It was awful. It was a rock album.
Sure
But
did.
you
Great
need-
example. Thanks for
but-
bringing it back to that.
But my point is, bad or good, you need to let artists spread their wings.
Yeah, but like,
Because who knows what they may find. Look at Taylor Swift. What if she didn't? Oh, you know what? Better stay in your lane.
I'm ready for Taylor Swift's rap album. First of all,
Maybe she can rap.
First of all.
I think she did. It was either her, or maybe Natalie Portman on SNL.
that was
Maybe
Natalie
that,
Portman.
But you catch my drift. People get mad.
I catch your drift.
They're like, "Oh my God, how can Machine Gun Kelly
there's
be
no
a
way
rock star now?"
anybody other than Machine Gun Kelly will tell you that Machine Gun Kelly's rap albums are better than his fucking punk albums.
Yes, but
Thank you.
you don't think he's finding a little magic in some albums? Like he's got
I think he
got
found
a hit
Travis
with-
Barker in an album.
he's
That's not finding magic. That's finding Travis Barker. It's not magic. It's money. And I'm glad
Travis
he found
Barker?
it. I'm glad he found it in the rap world so that he could pay Travis Barker to be on his album.
How do you know Travis Barker didn't approach him and say, "Hey, I think you got an interesting vibe. I want to put you in a rock album"?
Come on, man. Come on.
He probably produced it. Like, why you give him too much credit?
Come on, man.
My point is
giving
the
Travis
same.
Barker too much credit.
Why do we hate on people for trying new things?
I'm
Who
not
cares?
hating. I'm happy for him. I just don't like his albums.
That's fine, but you said like he left the genre. I don't
He
remember.
did
what your
leave the
words-
genre. I mean,
No.
yes,
just
his rap albums suck now because he's spending so much time doing this other stuff.
Just because you try something else doesn't mean like I'm done with this forever.
Sure, you're right. But if you fucking started becoming a professional jazz flute player instead of doing, I don't know, your martial arts training, right? No longer do that. All I do now is jazz flute. Okay? And you do jazz flute and you come back as a martial artist and you suck balls as a martial artist.
Yeah, but you're
That hurts. That hurts you.
kinda
It's hurting you.
comparing apples to oranges. Like it's not like they're not leaving the music industry. They're just doing a different. It's like almost like if I did a different style, which is very welcomed.
But if it's negatively impacting your roots, it could become, it couldn't be, he doesn't owe me anything as a fan. I'm hardly even a fan. I do like him.
Yeah,
I like a lot of his songs.
It's like the article you said that Lauryn Hill owes you nothing.
Right. You're absolutely
She
right.
owes you nothing.
And neither does he. Neither does he. But like, man, it's hard to look at. It's hard to look at.
I like some of his rock stuff.
Yeah, but you don't like some
What
of
is
his
it?
pictures.
That song "I'm Not Okay" does with Youngblood and Travis Barker.
Yeah, that one's
I love
good.
it. I fucking love it.
And the other song they did together was a cover. Love
Yeah.
that too.
That's fine.
It's a
Cover it. Cover it.
I like some of his stuff. I don't like it more than his rap albums, though. I actually like
There's
him as a
just-
rapper a little bit.
I just don't understand the sauciness of people getting so mad that if someone's trying something new, like that's what artists are supposed to do.
I'm not mad.
You're supposed to try something new.
But
You're
not
supposed to-
not liking it doesn't mean that person's so mad.
Yeah, a fan has every right to be critical because that's what you are. You're a fan. You're
Yeah.
a paying customer. It's your job to
Like,
critique.
I'm not spending $1 on his punk shit. Not because he talks shit about fucking whatever the fucking dudes with the masks, Slipknot. Not because of any of his little drama in the rock world. I could give two shits. I'm not buying it because I just don't want to. I just don't like it. It doesn't speak to me. Every album I've seen from him on those has one or two good songs and the rest is filler. From what I've heard. Like, I'm not putting that whole album through my shit. There's no way. Not with checkered pants and platforms and
I don't know.
that blonde blowout.
I like to see artists get weird with it. I want to see the weirder the better. I want to see
So
you
you're a Marilyn
explore
Manson
the
fan.
boundaries.
You like Marilyn. That's what you're telling me.
He's not my taste,
Oh.
but I'm fine with him doing what he does. Just because it's not for me doesn't mean I'm not gonna talk negative. It's just not to my taste.
Yeah.
But I think he should explore his little
Yeah.
tentacles of evil,
Tentacles of Evil is wild.
and put him out there. Maybe he should do a little Sinatra. Who knows?
Oof. That would be wild.
Could
Actually.
you imagine
I would like that.
Marilyn in a full tux,
Mm-hmm.
2 glass eyeballs,
Yes.
of like a cat's eye or whatever he lives in now.
Ribs
He
missing.
can see it all, yeah.
Yeah. Whatever he does now.
But looking sharp.
That would be
Nice comb over.
cool. I think he has that now.
Just crooning.
Speaking of comb overs, back to Machine Gun Kelly. That kid had one hell of a hair replacement therapy.
You think?
100%. There's no think. Go look at the pictures.
I have not
Guys,
studied his hair that
Guys,
much.
I listen. You don't have to study. You see one picture of him when he was 19 and one picture now. Dude got it done.
He does wear it down a lot. I feel like that's the start
brother,
of hiding the recession.
if you look up a picture of Machine Gun Kelly's receding hairline from when he was like 20 years old.
Is that the Google search?
I mean, I'm telling you, it's like old McConaughey. Like,
did we talk about the McConaughey controversy?
Oh, how he lies about his hair?
Yeah, I think we did talk about that.
Yeah, we talked about it in private. We didn't talk about it here. I just wish he'd just come clean, you know?
I swear he's got to be contracted to like some hair pills from like 20 years ago that he can't break the lie.
Come on,
He's got to live the lie.
What movie was it?
Ed TV. We're in full recession. We're in 2008 on top of that dome. And then like, 2-3 years later, you get Sahara McConaughey. You get lettuce flowing everywhere.
That's the Machine Gun. Got the same guy. They got the same guy.
How'd you do, McConaughey?
They got the same guy.
Turkey is what they say. Turkey's the spot. They fly you out. I swear we talked about this before, but who knows?
I don't give a shit anymore.
Thanks
for listening to us fucking babble about this shit.
Comment, subscribe.
Hey, but I do have some things that I do want to discuss.
Get us back on track.
I'm gonna get us back on track.
I feel a lot of scatterbrained out of focus.
It's all right. We're going to bring it back in.
Bring it in.
Taylor Swift, who we were talking about originally.
T-Swift.
Shuts down a town because she was so amazing at building a brand.
Is amazing.
Right? Yes. Other artists have done it. They will continue to do it. Pop artists are the ones that kind of get the most credit for it.
They reap the most reward.
They do. But building a brand is a big deal. As it pertains to us, we ourselves are trying to build a brand, not a Taylor Swift brand, but just like one that can like keep us out of poverty.
I want to take over.
Yeah.
City near you.
And I have to respect her hustle because you and I both know firsthand how hard it is to just get the ideas that are floating around in here and turn them into anything other than just ideas and words and bullshit. To go from I have an idea to do a podcast to this shit right here is a lot of fucking work.
It's a lot of work.
So yeah, I cannot hate on her. I can't hate. Machine Gun Kelly did the same fucking thing. And I think that's why I do feel passionate about his hip hop career. He started a Warped Tour trying to get in as a rapper. That's hard to do.
Or even G-Eazy started on YouTube.
100%.
GTV. Nobody would give him a look because he's a white kid rapping.
Tyler, the Creator. All the same. They all do that stuff, man. The creating the brand is the hardest part. And I know that there's a lot of people out there. We can't be the only ones that struggle with taking the ideas and the passion that you have on the inside and bringing it outside into the universe. And I think that it is important that we do so because imagine how many Taylor Swifts there are out there that just never really sat down and wrote it out. I think that it's important that we do stuff like that, mainly because it's gotten us here. So, and I know here is nowhere. We're on a YouTube channel with like no views, but that's better than we were. We're figuring the shit out. I'll tell you that much.
Let me tell you, I just looked it up because I want to make sure I didn't misquote it. There's a Mark Twain quote that
got it.
I've used at a lot of different times in my life. It's the secret of getting ahead is getting started.
Got it. And that is a good ass quote.
The quote continues. That's the first line, but I used to have that written in my mirror. No, I'm not going to quote the rest.
Come on, man.
I'm just saying, but that's the part that was always important to me because I am in complete agreement with you.
Yeah.
It is very difficult for, I want to say artists, but I'm starting to think it's just people in general, to take an idea, like you said, this magic idea you have, and to turn it into something real. Whether you monetize it or not, whatever, but just to turn it into something real. And some mediums are more difficult than others.
Yes.
Painter, much more easily find something to paint. That being said, if I was a painter, maybe I was all up in my head about anxiousness about how this painting's going to be, and I can't get past, like a pre-production stage. That one I did quick. That was like an epiphany. But anyway, my point is, so maybe it's not as easy because that would be then my medium that I focus on. So maybe I would have more anxiousness that this needs to be perfect. This needs to be set up, because you're right. I think everyone struggles, and maybe it's not even an idea that has to be artistic. Maybe it's, you know what? I think I want to change jobs, or you know what? I've always wanted to live in this city or go on this vacation. Maybe that idea is just as difficult to make a reality.
Well, I first of all agree with everything you said. I look at it as life kind of gives you all these doorways, and you got to walk through as many as possible before you find the right route for you, especially as an artist, but also just as a human being. Just because you wake up one day and you want to be an astronaut does not mean that that's the way that your life is going to pan out.
So you're thinking like life is a, matrix key maker, open one door and it's just door, and keys.
That's kind of how I feel. I mean, I would say not necessarily life, because you can walk through one door and just keep on walking. But if you're searching for success, there is a lot of different avenues. Some doors will open, others will close. I think that showing up to as many as possible, knocking on that door and seeing what it has for you is beneficial. I mean, you and I have both gone through different trades and different artistries that either didn't work out or did work out in one way but not the other, and we're still kind of looking for ourselves in that realm of success. We haven't quite found it yet, but we're further than we've ever been. Yeah, we're onto something here. This is not anywhere near the doors that we were looking to knock on.
Yeah, I've got some acting projects I'll put up on the channel, but so far, no acting projects are live. Just the podcast and the golf show. Right. Interestingly enough, none of which involve acting, which I would say is my bread and butter.
Maybe. But if the world says, hey, fuck your acting, this is this podcast.
Fuck your honey butter.
Yeah, fuck your honey butter. Like, if the world says we're watching this, fucking your acting projects on your channel are getting in the way of my algorithm, what are we gonna do?
It's almost like those the life doors you speak of. I almost see them more inside of like an MC Escher drawing. Do you know who that is?
Do tell.
The mathematical artist that draws the stairwells that curve and wind into nowhere.
Yes, I do know the optical illusions, if you will.
Yeah, exactly. So that's probably how those life doors are. They're probably inside of one of his drawings where they go different directions, because the directions you think they go in directions that we don't quite understand.
We can't foresee it. There's no way. Life's too random. Life's too wild, man.
It's not as linear as we'd like it to be.
Not unless you're rich.
I mean, I would love for A to lead to B to C to D, but that's not life.
No. It's as random as the planets that surround us.
Yeah.
Out there in the universe.
Yeah,
sometimes you just get hit by a meteor.
I mean, even like while we're discussing it, just the fact that like you've almost really made me think that the same crazy anxieties and mental gymnastics I go through to put out a creative project that someone might also have for something as more relatable as changing jobs or just moving to another city or even just going on a vacation you've always wanted to do. But for whatever reason, you have all the tools in front. You have the internet. You have money in your account. Maybe you have a passport. But for whatever reason, you've dreamed about going to Thailand, Switzerland, wherever, and you haven't done it. The question is why? Why do
safety net people? We're professionals at making excuses.
You think it's just fear?
It's fear. Of course, it's fear. It's fear, one way or another. No matter how you cut it. Oh, my dog's sick. He's getting older. What am I going to do? What if I leave and something happens?
It's a lot of what if talk.
It's a lot of what ifs that keep you from doing the things that you want to do in this life.
What if the new job doesn't work? What if that new city, it's hard to find a grocery store?
Yeah, or taking a pay cut. People don't want to take a pay cut for nothing. People will die on a cross.
How crazy is that?
To not make $1 less an hour.
To work a job that they hate.
Absolutely hate. Just that they'll die on it. I'm done. I'm not doing it. I can't leave this because I get this day off when I want it, and I make $2 more an hour. That job that I would love, not for me.
It's almost like a lot of jobs, you know, you've got a stranglehold on you. Benefits is a big one. I think
Benefits
there's
will
a
get
lot
you.
of
The bennies will
jobs.
fuck you up.
There's a lot of jobs people would be willing to jump to. However, a lack of benefits puts a lot of fear, especially if you have a family. Puts a lot of fear into you.
Of course. Family is a big one. Once you have kids, man,
Everything.
if you're divorced,
change.
forget about it.
Yeah.
If you're divorced, you can't leave unless you get the other person who hates you or doesn't want to cooperate. That's why you got divorced in the first place, to follow you there. Imagine that.
Well,
it's hard.
It's never going to happen. Yeah,
Right. It's not going to happen. If
whoever
you're
has
together,
primary
it's still
custody.
probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
But if you get a divorce, you're sunk. The ship is, you're here.
Kids is a game changer. Game changer.
Heck yeah,
So
James
let's-
Changer.
Game changer. We're a little rusty. Sorry, audience, if you're listening
Man,
to
don't
this.
apologize to them. They're not even listening.
If you're
It's a
listening
James
to
Changer.
this, God bless you, because
Hey.
I'm rusty here.
Oh.
But let's take kids. Let's take that aside. That's a whole
Copy.
other rascally animal.
Yes.
So for everyone else,
No rascals.
what's impeding them from doing something that they say they really want to do? You think it's just an aversion to risk?
I think that people think that their dreams and aspirations are just that. They're dreams. They're
Interesting.
daydreaming, and they put it out into the world so that they feel better. Like, oh, I have this that I really want to do, and it's almost like they're making excuses for why they are the way they are. They don't really think they're ever going to do it. It's just they've always.
That's a complete other psychological can of
But
worms.
it's possible. It's possible. I think that there's a larger portion than we would like to admit that have always dreamed of that one day that they're going to move to Greece and live on that island. But they're not taking any of the necessary steps through either procrastination, excuses, lack of just sheer motivation, even though that kind of falls under procrastination.
Motivation is a key word here.
Yeah.
Motivation is something I think that everybody struggles with, whether it's something simple or complex, like moving. But yeah, the motivation is, I think that's what you have to decide, versus a pipe dream versus something that you are actually going to take the steps to accomplish.
You're right. You're absolutely right. I'm going to pause for a time check. How are we doing?
You want to know what time it is?
What time it is?
It's time to thank our sponsors.
Hey!
Thank you guys for listening to the first part.
First fart.
Let's try that again. What time is it?
It's time to thank our sponsors.
We'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors. Thank you for listening to this perfectly eloquent podcast.
It's a James Changer, dude.
I'd like to interrupt your regularly scheduled program to thank our sponsors for today's episode. Today's sponsor is Dataless Industrial. Small businesses often think they can't afford to automate their processes, but in this labor market, they can't afford not to. At Dataless, we help small manufacturers understand the best ways to maximize their production through automation and robotics without breaking the bank. Let Dataless do an automation assessment for your company so you can get back to growing your business, not worrying about how you're going to staff it. Visit our website, Dataless Industrial, to learn more. That's datalessindustrial.com. Thanks, and back to the show. Welcome back to the podcast.
Yeah.
All right, so
We left off on motivation, procrastination, and excuses, and I kind of want to pick that back up because
it's a lot of words I like.
it's a lot of things that, it's a lot of things that we all do as humans, and they're things that definitely we're guilty of, and it seems like a good thing to talk about. So we're just gonna keep talking about it, all right? And you can listen or you can not listen.
What prompted you to bring this up. We don't have to go deep, but I know this is something you brought up before we talked. So what brought this? Typically, when we organize some of these podcasts, which we're getting better at, so if you're still here, bless you. Bless you. But typically, I have a lot of serious notes I make, and Keoh will typically bring a little more comedy to the things I want to talk about, which is needed. No one wants to sit here and talk serious.
You know, but like some of these are good. Like these podcasts are good sometimes, but
sometimes you got to just
sometimes you just got to talk about buttholes
and sure and listen to something serious.
Yeah, and this isn't a butthole podcast today.
But there was a script flipped.
Yes.
And you wanted to talk into something a little more serious. So
I do.
Tell me why.
Because now that these episodes are starting to release and we're getting all this positive feedback, it just feels crazy. And it feels crazy because Garrett and I do a lot of work. We do a lot of work ventures. We were the ones who would never release anything. Anything that was in our private, our private sector of art projects and things like that, we were not releasing for whatever reason. It was never good enough.
Well, I was consummate perfectionist.
Yes, it was never good enough. It was never finished. It always needed more time. It was undercooked. And those are all excuses.
Yeah,
and
it's a fear. I mean, even the martial arts stuff, there's no reason when we were really training in that direction why we didn't get stuff on film.
100%. It was stupid. All we had to do was buy a fucking camera.
All we had to do, could have used a phone camera, even though, even the quality isn't what they are now. The fact that we were both terrified to press record and to put it out. And probably not as much to press record as much as it was to put it out. Like when I worked professionally, I had a comfort that someone else had decided that I was good enough or the work was good enough.
Right.
If they cast me in something,
right,
whatever it was, it's almost like that barrier was already crossed because that wasn't out of my hands.
Investing in yourself is so much more difficult.
It's a lot more difficult.
You're your toughest critic.
Yeah.
And sometimes you got to put out work that you don't like, that you're not 100% in love with. That's been
difficult. Let me tell you, okay, this YouTube endeavor was a huge project and mental shift for me, which we'll get into in more detail, but there's a photographer named Peter McKinnon. I may have said this before, but it's worth repeating on this podcast. He has a phrase that he has said for a lot of his work: done is better than perfect.
Yes.
I want to repeat it because it sounds simple, but I had to really think on this, and this affects me every day now. Done is better than perfect. I am a consummate perfectionist. I will work hour after hour after hour trying to be the best at everything I can, but I have a hard time thinking that things are good enough to put out in public view.
Yeah.
But when I heard him say that, it's one of those lines that resonated deep because I realized how much missed opportunity I had because I couldn't get out of my own way.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad that you brought this up. I just wanted to interject that one line because if it can help anybody a fraction like it's helped me, then it's a huge success. And thank you, Peter McKinnon. If you ever see this, we love you.
Yeah. Way to go, Pete. I also struggled with the same exact things. I used to be in the music industry. I dabbled. I never really gave myself a fair shake at that because I was never done with the songs. The music never really released. I was a terror to work with because I was never happy, and I would drive the same song and the same verses into the ground trying to just dress them up and make them a little better. And it was just chewing up our studio time. It was just chewing it up. And it led to me having to focus on making more money to finish songs. And the thing that really pisses me off about that, with hindsight being what it is that the projects that I finished, all of my finished products, I wrote within 48 hours and dropped. Anything that I made into a project that lasted longer than that was never released aside from one. There was never released.
You know the phrase, paralysis by analysis.
Yes. I was overanalyzing the shit out of it. I had the best producer in the world, Andre Krause, and his brother.
Oh, sorry. That's a cheers for you, Andre. Andre, it's the wrong button.
Yeah.
I'm not a producer. I haven't seen Dre in forever. We love you. Hang on,
I'm sorry we laughed at you, Dre.
Give me one more.
Yeah. Hey, Andre Krause, enigmatic between him and his brothers, enigmatic with a K. They are great producers. And they were very patient with me, especially Andre, and I will always regret that I didn't do more, but we were also in a weird space.
Well, and that's why when you brought this up, we talked about it earlier. I wanted to ask you. It was almost a similar situation that you're in now. You had producers that believed in you, and you had the opportunity to put down work.
Yeah.
You could have released multiple albums.
Yes.
And I want you to speak on it further, but you got in your own way.
Yes.
So what do you think you could have done better without harping on it in that situation? More importantly, what do you think you learned from that situation?
The biggest thing that I learned from that situation, and it is the reason why I didn't give up necessarily because there's still things in the works, but I hung up my hat on the music industry, was because I was too dependent on my producers to make me beats and music. So my lack of understanding for how to manipulate the sounds that I was hearing was adding to my paralysis by analysis. I wasn't liking the way it was coming out in my headphones, and I didn't take the initiative upon myself because I was like, oh, they're my producers. They should do it. I want it to sound more like this, instead of figuring out how to augment the sound myself and giving myself a tutorial on how to use GarageBand and the other things we were using.
Or to realize the opportunity in front of you.
Right.
That maybe these beats aren't suited for my style perfectly. However, someone's giving me the opportunity to give vocal tracks and to put my work out
100%. I definitely regret that because and it's not the beats. The beats were fire. It was my own vocal recordings that I wasn't in love with. And it wasn't necessarily the verses. It was the sound. It was the effects that were being put on my voice, the layers. Those were things that I should have done by myself if I was going to be so picky.
Or,
just
not giving a fuck about it.
100%. Those were the only two options.
Said, you know what? I sound funny, but I got 8 tracks ready to send out.
I also was not logging my time appropriately. I was not logging my time appropriately. I would spend 10 hours working on one song, and then I wouldn't work on shit for 2 weeks. And
you never let yourself reach the finished product. I think that's the bigger problem.
100%.
It's okay to spend 10 hours on a track or any project you're doing, but you've got to rip the Band-Aid off.
You got to finish it.
Even if it's done is better than perfect.
100%.
And I'm equally as guilty. This is just me talking some of our thoughts back to you because
you're right.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult to accept that it's not perfect, but still good enough to put in public view.
100%. I only played like 2 or 3 shows in LA when we were out there, and they were all well received. I did an all-star weekend where I opened for Too Short. Almost opened for Machine Gun Kelly, and we had to bail at the last minute. Glad I did, actually, because my coworkers, the rap group that ended up going up without me, bombed. But that's how it goes. It was nothing on them, but it was it's ironic. Machine Gun Kelly of all people. And that was before anybody knew who he was. But I had some shows. All-Star Weekend out there was always easy to get shows. I did some things at Project Blowed, but I never really had my own set out there, which is where Kendrick Lamar was found. I I didn't log my time appropriately, man. I did not spend the time that I needed. I was either abusing substances or partying or making excuses for why I couldn't do it. And when I wasn't making excuses for why I couldn't do it and I was really focused, laser focused, I was being too critical. Because as you procrastinate, the each product you release starts to raise exponentially in value.
I think that's a really good point to make, is that when you're creating less work, you start to really raise expectations of the next project. I fell into that same trap with acting. There was a while I was hot. I was getting auditions. I fell off. Then all of a sudden, every audition had a huge importance to me.
100%.
Even if it wasn't something I wasn't crazy about.
Right.
It was the offer in front of me. And then that offer, for whatever reason, this mental game we play on ourselves, meant everything.
Oh, yeah.
And then you overstress.
Yep.
Then you overthink or overwork or decide that, it's not ready. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. Your producers are saying, Ryan, the track's done. We've been done. No. It needs to be tweak this and tweak this and tweak this. Before you know it, you never have a finished product.
And when you do, and you don't get the reactions you want from the people who you show it to, you almost scrap it. You almost just like, under the rug, just kidding, let's try again.
So instead of beating ourselves up, you in particular, you're taking some heat on yourself, which is good to share.
Yeah.
What have you learned from that you are currently trying to apply now? What can you share that you think you've been able to digest? Because now this is years later. We've both had opportunity to digest our failures. A lot of failures take a lot of digestion. So what have you learned that you're taking as a positive to move forward now?
I'm super okay with failures. Like more comfortable than even the average person. Even this that we're doing right now, which I really don't think is going to fail, to be honest, because we're just coming from too much of a genuine place. I'm more than comfortable with putting it out there, because at least we're putting it out there. You know what I mean?
That's a big leap of faith. I
don't feel scared. I'm not critical. I show these episodes to people, and I haven't even started watching them yet, which I'm going to have to watch, because I'm going to start chopping them up for our TikTok and our Instagram and stuff like that. I'm actually going to have to start being critical and picking the highlights from each reel. But right now, I'm not even watching them. And that was very unlike me back when I was doing music, because I would listen to the same song over and over. And, oh, wait, here's the part. Like, I was like that guy, you know what I mean? And it's like, nah. Yeah. Like, not only am I okay with our failures, but I'm very, very excited to do the work. Like, I'm excited to release new stuff. Now that we've actually started to release stuff, I'm starting to become addicted to that feeling of releasing. They're releasing the products, and we talked about it today. Nobody gives a shit if you're a director or an actor. They want to know what movie you did. You know, like, if you say, I'm a musician, they say, what's your YouTube? Where's your song? Where can I see you? They don't give a shit about your process. They don't care how you get it there. We're in a finished product society. They want to see the finished product. When Elon Musk said, I'm going to make an electric car, everybody went, okay, cool, douchebag. Like, we don't care. But then all of a sudden, you see a fucking Tesla riding around LA, and it's like, what is that? Oh my God, Elon. Oh, like, that's when all of the work pays off. We are very instant gratification. As soon as we see that we can take it, now we're going to give you your credit.
We're now all children of the internet.
Yes.
And we want things immediately, which
100%.
is why
instant gratification.
Companies like Amazon have dominated global commerce, and why social media platforms like TikTok and these short form mediums have just exploded on the scene, because people can digest 5 seconds worth of a piece.
Yeah.
And you can get a
minute
laugh.
at best.
Next. People want
And I'm guilty of it. I do it. Like, I don't watch an entire Joe Rogan podcast unless it's somebody he's interviewing that I have a specific.
Yeah. You're looking for JRE clips.
Yeah, I'm JRE clips 100%, which is why I'm gonna make sure we have the clips.
Yep.
But I think that I think that logging my time is also another thing that is gonna make sure that we have success here. I think that we've been doing, we planned a schedule, we stuck to it, and now we have episodes coming out. So now to refine that, all we got to do is make a more packed schedule of just more tweaks and things that we need to do. You're literally editing these videos while doing a completely different job.
Edited all day today.
That's what I'm saying. So it's just investing in yourself, I guess, and being okay with failing. I think that's number one for me, is just being okay with how, oh, we look stupid, we're doing a dumb podcast, who are these losers? Well, we're obviously somebody because our studio's nicer than your favorite podcaster. So, you know, like whether we're doing great or not, we're doing something right. So,
something is going right.
Yeah.
Well,
that's what it is for me, man. But what about you?
For me, I had at a crossroads whether I was going to give entertainment another go, and I decided to go all in. I found myself really enjoying YouTube, and I realized the power of a medium where you can produce your own work.
Yeah.
My biggest complaint as a performance artist was I always bitched that I was working in a medium where I couldn't just create my own work.
Right.
I needed a tribe. For the most part, acting, you need a tribe. You need multiple people to work with to do, which was my favorite medium. And so to a degree, I used it as a crutch that I couldn't. You know, I went down that negativity as waiting, you know, doing the audition route, waiting for things to come to me and just being ready. My biggest deal was I was hyper focused on being ready, being perfect.
Yeah.
So that when, you know, the big auditions found me, they were going to say, well, where has this kid been?
Yeah.
You know, I was training the amount of hours, you know, I put myself on a professional athletic schedule. I said, if I train as much as a full-time athlete with my martial arts, there's no way they could keep me out of the action roles. I was like, if I'm just that good, they can't keep me out. They can't. I'm too good.
Right.
They'll finally wake up and see me do one or two auditions, and it's going to be like, what?
Yeah.
Let's just plug him in. We don't got to train him. He's ready to go.
Yeah.
So that was my mentality, was grind, and be ready, versus what a smart person would do would be create, and they'll find you really anytime. You don't have to be ready to make it half the time.
Yeah.
But taking that mental shift to say, you know what, I'm going to empower myself and I'm going to find a way that I feel confident that I can create.
Yeah.
And that's when I saw this YouTube, and the other things kind of are almost secondarily, like looking at podcasts and the golf vlog I'm doing. These are what have opened up the channel because I find them a little easier. And because of those self-critiques of myself, I haven't released any acting work yet, which I will. My other shows are coming are performance works. But it kind of helped me to tiptoe in the medium a little bit in that way, because maybe this medium is someone's front runner. So they have the anxiety. For me, it's not. And that's kind of how I have eased into it, to now I understand YouTube. I understand the production process. Now I'm more comfortable to put up my acting work. So I think that for me was the direction that kind of helped me. But just YouTube in general, like realizing, you know, we could have realized it earlier when YouTube was coming up, but we didn't have the foresight, and that's okay. But willing to take the leap and say, you know what? Fuck it. I've been grinding for years.
Yeah.
I'm just going to throw spaghetti against the fridge and see what sticks.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure.
I've got my shows that I'm doing are all very different. And if one of them hits and I can quit my day job, life success.
Yeah.
My life will be forever changed.
Yeah.
But it's not easy. It still is a grind for me. The first couple weeks of us releasing this stuff, I've gone through a lot of emotional ups and downs. It's been difficult to put the work out still, to hear reception from family and friends. Not every reaction you get is the reaction you hope for.
Right.
Or maybe you think you deserve, or maybe the opposite. Maybe you think, man, I thought this was better, but the reaction isn't there, so maybe it's not. Is this a mistake? You can go down this whole rabbit hole.
Yeah, for sure, man.
But then you kind of have to take the approach of just fuck it.
Yeah, for sure.
Just fuck it.
Yeah.
I could die tomorrow.
Yep.
I've almost died a couple times. I'm a pretty risky individual. Even stuff is like swimming in the ocean.
Yeah.
A couple times I've almost drowned in open water swimming, just swimming too long.
Uh-huh.
I've touched death a few times. And so even still with my anxiety, I have to realize, like, you know what? I could die. So if I die tomorrow.
But did you die?
I didn't die.
Yeah.
So if I die, I'm going to be really pissed. The ghost looking at me and everyone else having a blast down here, he's going to be pissed.
Yeah.
Well, why didn't you do something?
Of course.
What's the worst case?
Yeah.
People make fun of you on YouTube.
Fuck
Your
'em.
friends and family think you suck. Whatever.
They already thought that.
Yeah, so fuck them.
Yo. Yes.
I don't think about that our friends and family, but the point is the same. Even if you do, if you think everyone, it's not, this is hard to realize. It's not a good enough excuse. It's just not.
Mm-hmm.
You got to just do the work. If it's something you really want, you got to just put it out there and see what happens.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is the process will teach you more about the craft than anything.
Of course.
I've already learned so much about all of this in the few episodes we've released.
I'm glad you said that because that's what I was trying to put into words earlier about my music career is that I was only a part of one aspect of the process and I was cutting myself out of the entire production side.
But that's a choice.
Well, of course, it's a wrong choice. It's a bad choice.
You could have sat
I
there.
could have sat there and learned, hey, what are you doing right there? When you're tweaking that, when you're clicking on
That
that.
beat's really cool.
Yeah.
Oh, how did
you do that? Yeah, and then I could have got my hands dirty, and then I could have started fucking with it.
took
and before you know it, no, I was a diva.
Took a diva.
Same way you were on a couple of auditions where we just thought you shouldn't have been there. You know what I mean? I felt like I shouldn't have been doing his job.
That's called hubris.
Yeah, it was 100% being
arrogance.
a diva.
Yep.
But I only brought that up and I flipped it on you because without you, none of this would be here. There's a reason why the channel is called Garrett's World and not Ryan's World or Keoh's World or whatever. It is this is something that I was very fortunate to be a part of. And I know that you guys watching are like, well, fucking how? You got 35 views. Who gives a fuck? But even the fact that I'm a part of it really just comes from being a good friend. There's no, I have a lot of things that I'm good at, but there's, this is all on him. So if this does become successful, you got to know that he put this all together. This studio came from inside his brain. So if it sucks, blame it on him. It's not me. I don't like it either, to be honest, but he made it, and to be a part of it is a blessing for me, for better or worse. So he's a perfect example of not only taking the initiative and not procrastinating and creating something that's just floating around in your head, but now he's bringing his friends with him. You know, like we've been doing this for a decade, and I sit here every podcast and I still don't fully feel like I deserve it. I know I belong here because, again, we've been doing it, but hats off to you, man. Thank you.
Some of the nicest things you've said, Keoh. That means a lot. And honestly, the reason I brought you on, and it's your friendship has been invaluable. There is no one I trust creatively more than you.
Thanks, man.
You have helped me through a series of the ups and downs of my career. You've assisted me on a lot of projects. I mean, you've even just acted as my personal assistant on projects. Like you've stepped up as a rock star. So, of course, I would bring you on as a friend no matter what. But I do want to say the reason you're here is because you're talented.
Thank you.
You're fucking talented. And like me, you get in your own way.
Yeah,
You're
for
fucking
sure.
talented. You're funny as shit. You're a creative monster. And I just knew you needed to be out there.
I appreciate it, man.
So I want to see you. I'm just as interested to see what you do with this opportunity as to see what happens with my direction. Well, obviously, we're tied. This show, we're tied forever.
Yes.
But what I really want to see, because to some degree, I think we're going to take different directions. And I like the idea of this show always bringing us together to talk about all our other endeavors or whatever's going on in life. I can't wait to interview people.
Yeah.
So this show will be the tying thread.
Yes.
But I've got some thoughts of your future, and I want to see if I'm right. I won't vocalize them because I don't want to adjust. But I think this is going to springboard you into some things that you don't expect. I think you're going to see your potential because, I'm not the only one to give you a platform. That's why, Dre and those guys, they saw your potential. They didn't just do it because they thought you were a nice guy. They're not going to grind it in the studio because you're a nice guy. And you're a good friend. You're talented.
Yeah.
And people want to see you fucking do something with it.
That's true, man. I appreciate that. That means a lot to me, dude.
One of my closest friends, John Eric, when I was at a very low point, he kind of shook some sense into me. I was so lost, but he kind of said some nice things about me and what I was capable of, but in kind of like a pretty stern conversation, he said, just do something. And his tone really struck me because he was right. Like I had a lot of tools, I had a lot of potential, and I was so terrified to do something.
Yeah.
And I needed to hear it. I needed someone to slap me in the face.
For sure.
And it didn't come immediately, but that helped me. So John Eric, thank you.
J.E.
That helped me. Sometimes you need someone to slap you in the face
100%.
and check you back because, man, you can live in this spiral of anxiety, depression, fear for anything we discuss. And we're talking what resonates with us creatively, but any of the things we started talking about, any choices in life that you want to change, do something different.
Just got to do it.
You got to do it. You got to take risks. You got to be afraid to fall on your face 1,000 times. You can't be afraid to go broke. I've been in the red. You just have to do it. And failure will lead to success. To circle back to that, I truly believe that. I watched the lecture. I was in an acting program. It was a Stella Adler program out in La La Land. I saw Anthony Zerber speak. He's an actor. He probably doesn't do anything current now. He's much older.
Yeah.
The only thing anyone will know now is he did a lot of theater, but Matrix. He was in the Matrix sequels, and the center of the universe world. But anyway, successful guy.
Which one was he in that?
I think it was the second or third one. Where they're in the robes inside the real world that exists. Zion, right?
Yeah.
So he's in Zion. But anyway, what he said is, this is to an acting class. He said, most of you are not going to be acting stars, so you can't be afraid to try other things. Write, direct, produce, model, stunt work, whatever. He said you cannot be afraid to try other things, and that's okay.
It's the doorways, dude.
It's the doorways. You can't be afraid to just try new things and do new things.
Just keep knocking.
That's the end of the podcast. You got anything to leave us with?
Fuck no, man. Get out there.
If you guys are struggling, if you want to make a change, just fucking do it.
Oh, yeah. Nike did not pay us to say that. But if they want to,